That's what happens when you click the button by accident, if you're thinking that you're just going to load stuff. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. Coming to you live this morning. It's not even not early anymore. It's 12:30 in the afternoon on in New York. I am, of course, not in New York, but my computer is always on New York time because of the stock market. This is going to be a shorter video because I got to get my ass to Austin, Texas from Houston, Texas. And that is a bit of a drive. So let's just go through the charts and we go from there. Crazy, like all kinds of news is coming out this morning. Once again, I'm going to start off every episode with a new beginning, which will start with where are we on the United States collapse this morning? And this is coming from someone that has been bullish on America and the U.S. economy, making fun of gloom and doomers. And I'm about to become the biggest gloom and doomer that I know, being myself. So two crazy stories, and then we're going to look at the charts. And I'm going to try to make them quick. I just saw it right. This is why the stream was late by about 7 minutes, because I saw this article. This is the most bullish thing for Bitcoin since WikiLeaks. Like, I can't wait for the banks to cancel people's bank accounts for not wearing a mask. See, they didn't even say refuse to wear a mask inside the bank. They're literally, I think that you have to look at these things in combination. So everything has turned political. If you think this show went political, corporations have gone political. And here's what I mean. Airbnb says it's working to block capital attackers from returning to Washington, D.C. So basically, for example, I rented an Airbnb to be in Washington for the rally or the protest on the 6th of January. Now, Erica, Bank of Erica, had her Airbnb canceled. She actually ended up not going. She was going to stay probably at my Airbnb if she would have came, but she didn't come. I was at the Airbnb with a few other people, but I rented the Airbnb. So if Airbnb says, hey, this guy only came to Washington, D.C. between the 4th and the 7th, which means he came to D.C. for the Trump event, which means he is an attacker on the Capitol just by being in Washington. So this is insane. So you are about to be canceled from everything. If they don't like your political views, you are going to get canceled. But this is the best. Like, look, I can get around the Airbnb problem, but how do you get around the banking problem? If the bank closes your account, sorry, I had to sneeze. If the bank closes your account, how the hell are you supposed to get around that? There is one and only one solution, and that's Bitcoin. This is incredibly bullish, incredibly bullish. It's insane what these people are doing, all for political reasons. Now let's go to the charts. We're going straight to the weekly because, like I said, this is going to be a shorter show. I did not even pull out your live chat, so I don't know what's going on in the live chat. Let me do that now. Grab your live chat. And I would need to do this and then this. Perfect. Okay. So all right, we got 700 viewers, so that's pretty damn good. Okay, keep it that way. Okay, so this should be shorter. Cool. All right, weekly chart. So today is only Wednesday. I believe today is Wednesday. Today is only Wednesday, and this is still looking like a very healthy bottom side of this candle. What are your thoughts on a head and shoulder pattern? Yeah, we can glance at that. Look, I am still anticipating a blow off top. I don't believe this was the blow off top. I still think there is a high probability of a blow off top coming later this month because of what may or may not happen. Now they're trying to impeach Trump for the second time. in a month. And there are reasons as to why impeach Trump, and I didn't really understood those reasons until I saw some Twitter replies. So the main reasons to impeach Trump is, first of all, he won't be able to run for president again, and they can't have him running for president again because if there is a fair election, he would win in a landslide. So they can't have him running for president again. And also, they don't want to give him Secret Service protection. So if they can impeach him, they can then arrest him. They can do whatever they want with him. He becomes, a peasant citizen like the rest of us. But some of us have Bitcoin, so we're in better position than Trump. If you don't have Bitcoin, you're going to be in trouble. Everyone needs to have some Bitcoin. I don't care if it's a tenth of a Bitcoin, a quarter of a Bitcoin. You better have some Bitcoin. You better have some, because the shit that's coming down the pipe is insane. Now, this is our fourth day of the 1 to 4 candle correction. This is it. This is my make or break line. If we are below this line tomorrow, I become bearish, not significantly bearish, but this possibility is, I'm going to put a huge percentage chance of us falling to the 25 range if we are below this line. I'm actually going to be raising this blue line. It may be a little too early to raise it right now, but I don't know when I'm going to stream again. So I'm going to move these arrows out of the way because we're always adjusting. I'm going to put this blue line at today's low. I do not believe that today's low is going to be broken if we go to the upside. And now I'm going to put the arrows back here. Now this arrow, I probably should have adjusted it. We don't have to go down to 25. We don't have to. I think we can, but we're not going to get a double bottom either. So I have two choices. I could raise this arrow to, say, 37. Ideally, I want to raise it to 42. But if I raise it to 42, I now have to raise this arrow to something like that. Okay? And I don't know if I'm ready to be this bullish, this short term. But there are multiple possibilities here. Okay? I think it's, if we rally, the harder we rally from this candle today, the more likely we will be staying above the thresholds. There are two choices here. Either we establish a new support level of 40,000, or we come and do a full, 40 to 50% correction. And I think both of those probabilities are equally likely. For now, we're focusing on this area. And if this blue line breaks, and the blue line, I just moved it to $32,000, 32,200. Let's be more conservative. Let's just make this line 32,000. If Bitcoin breaks 32,000 again, I'm just gonna make it 32. 32,000 is my new line in the sand. If Bitcoin goes below 32,000 at any point, today, tomorrow, next week, at any point the rest of the month, this blue line is still the rest of the month. I believe that Bitcoin will come down to the mid to low $25,000 area if we breach this blue line at this point in time. This is the make or break for the 1 to 4 candle correction. It's either now, like in my video description, I put now or never, but it's actually not never. Like if Bitcoin doesn't go up now, it's going to go up soon. It's not going to be never, right? So when you say now or never, for Bitcoin, it doesn't make sense. So we either go up now or we go up later. So I would like it for it to go up now. And if we start going up now, we then rally for another MRI top on the daily in line with an MRI top on the weekly. Now, this weekly is very steep. And I have that all the way in the 57,000 range. So if I want these arrows to match, oh, they're almost matching. This is about 55,000. Okay. So, but then this here, I'm going to take the thinner arrow and I'm going to stick that here. I'm really projecting into the future, maybe a little too much. And there is a possibility of a reset back here. Now, this one would probably come down to test these moving averages, because this moving averages will certainly be broken at that time. We would like to touch this moving average, and it's possible if we go up slow enough, we can meet it up here somewhere. But for now, we avoided this, and I am bullish this week. I mean, all the shit that's coming down the pipe. I mean, when your bank is going to remove your banking services, when your bank is going to remove your banking services for believing in the right science, that's insane. Like that is insane. These masks, they don't do shit. They don't do anything. And the bank is going to deplatform you if you don't wear a mask. I mean, I'm going back to Florida. I mean, I'm actually not happy with Texas. They're all mask crazy here too. But at least they're, like places are open to hang out, have a good steak. But in Florida, no one wears a mask. So wait a minute. So you're telling me that if I go to an HSBC in Florida where a mask is not a requirement, and I'm caught on camera inside the HSBC bank in Florida where masks aren't required, I can lose my bank account. This is basically what they're saying. And this cannot be more bullish for Bitcoin. I mean, these communist politicians have no fucking idea what is coming down the pipe when people just refuse to use their money and start using Bitcoin. Anyway, all right, let me look at your questions. Oh, I see Fibbo Swanee is being active. What do you got, Fibbo? Let me see. I should get Fibbo back on the show. Raise it to 46,000. Well, I had it at 46,000. I just raised it higher. Hey, Tone, isn't each Bitcoin transaction a taxable event? I believe Bitcoin is treated. I mean, I'm not a tax guy or a tax advisor. Look, you don't have to use Bitcoin right now. You just save Bitcoin. Let it go up in value. Start spending Bitcoin when it's $250,000. And you know what the best way to spend Bitcoin? Not being a U.S. damn citizen. Like, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you don't have to worry about these problems. I think there'll be a mass exodus of Americans. I think the surrendering of the U.S. passport. Again, like I said, these socialist politicians have no fucking idea what's coming down the pipe. I would not be surprised if they make it impossible to surrender your American passport. Back when my family immigrated communist Russia, you were not allowed to defect Russia. You had to get special permission. And in the 80s, in the late 80s, the only way to get that special permission is if you were Jewish. Being Jewish was the only way to get out of Russia. So even, crafty Russians that were not Jewish, found a way to forge some paperwork to make themselves Jewish in order to get the hell out of the country. But the point is, they did not let you leave the country. And not only did they not let you leave the country, even when they did let you leave the country, like my family, you were only allowed to leave with $100 worth of money per family member. So imagine a situation where in 3 months, the regime of Biden and Harris, fully under the guideline of the CCP, and for those that don't know what the CCP is the Chinese Communist Party, they will come down with, I'm not saying they will, but I would not be surprised if they come down with a new regulation saying that if you defect the United States, you are not allowed to leave the country with more than $1,000 Oh, they seem to love the $3,000 number. Like, we don't care if you have $20 million in the bank. You are only allowed to leave the country with $3,000 per family member, and we will keep the rest because we want to keep the rest of Americans safe from you because you are leaving. And this is a problem. And it's, I've never been this bullish on Bitcoin. Yes, the price is a little bit high, and yes, I've been calling for this pullback, but holy shit, am I bullish on Bitcoin with what's happening in the political and the financial realm right now. If Bitcoin does break below 32,000 today or tomorrow, will you sell your GBTC and buy it back later? That is a very good question. Honestly, I probably won't, and I'll tell you why. The only reason why I won't is because of the funding rate. Like, the funding rate is killing me right now. It is historically, historically meaning recent history, it is historically low. And I did hear that another lockup period might end in early February. So this funding rate could go low. If the funding rate was higher, I absolutely would. I had a big dilemma here. You see, the funding rate was insanely high, but I still felt bullish for Bitcoin. And obviously, I should have got out like right there, but I got screwed up with the time zones. And then I should have just exited. But I just got screwed up with the time zones. And I was pissed that I couldn't get out in the morning because I didn't know what time it was, because I didn't know Florida had multiple time zones, and neither did the Floridians that were with us. And I just didn't get out. And I'm like, shit, but I did buy in right at the low, and I have some more that I can buy in. No, I'll just buy. I'll just hold through it, because based on and it's again, Biden's going to take office in about 10 days if he knows what year or what planet he's on. And I'm just not, it's too risky for me with the political environment. Like, I can see Bitcoin going up $10,000 if certain shit hits the fan. Like, if all of a sudden all Republicans no longer have a bank account in America, like, Bitcoin will go up $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in a day. Like there will be no limit to how high it can go when you're starting to read articles that banks are going to deplatform you for not wearing a mask. Because remember, this is all subjective. The bank can say, hey, like, I don't like how this guy voted in the election, so we're going to shut his bank account because he doesn't wear a mask, because people that did vote for Trump generally don't like masks. So there you go. Now, if GBTC funding, well, first of all, if the GBTC funding rate was in that 40 range over here, I would have absolutely sold. The one thing that prevented me from getting out back here was like the funding rate really, really screwed me up. So I'm stuck in this, and I don't mind being stuck in it. Like, Bitcoin is going insane. Like, I had no idea what can drive Bitcoin to a $250,000 price within a year. I now do. I now absolutely do. I am putting up all my, and I will have more money to put into this stuff too, because I am selling my New York condo, literally. I have to speak to my realtor a little bit more, but I just want to make sure I get a good price for it. That's about it. That's the Ethereum USD chart. It's going to just follow Bitcoin. The stock market is doing just fine because people are scared to have money in the bank. The brokerage accounts probably are, the brokerage accounts don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. So they'll probably keep your account. So your Apple stock is safer. And, but yeah, like Apple is probably going to shut down any app that is free market. It's about to get bad. Twitter is done. I'm probably going to be leaving Twitter. Facebook hasn't deplatformed me yet. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like our entire tech sector is going to change, and it's going to change so quickly because of this divide, this insane divide. Like, look, people can be divisive. I can be divisive versus other people. But as a corporation, you are supposed to be neutral You are not supposed to pick sides between maskers, anti-maskers, Democrats, Republicans, capitalists, communists. Apple is not supposed to be choosing who they support. They can support, a communist, and they can support a capitalist as a user of their product, but they're not doing that. They're picking and choosing. Now, obviously, I think they're choosing wrong, but I would give them shit if they did it the other way too. Like if Apple decided to, or if Twitter decided to ban Biden's account, I would see that as wrong, just as wrong as when they decided to ban Trump's account. I don't know why I'm looking at Aurora Cannabis. We should be looking at Bitcoin short-term chart. So to me, it's just wrong. What Twitter did is embarrassing for any company, especially an American company. Like deleting Trump's account, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. Imagine what would happen if they deleted Biden's account. It's the same thing. All right. I'm looking at your live chat, guys. There is, see if there's anything going on. Whoa, a lot of questions. Okay. Let me see. Hey, Tone, what are your thoughts on a head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour chart? So here is the 4-hour chart. And it is a head and shoulders pattern. I'm just going to grab this red line. And I'm going to draw a neckline like this. But this neckline would need to be broken. And if we go up, if we break this high, if the price of Bitcoin goes above 36,500, then this is no longer a head and shoulders pattern. So it's a head and shoulders pattern that has not broken. That means you can't trade it. You can only trade it if you break this trend line. And this trend line should probably be less steep. So we need to go back down. And this is why my line for 32,000 is so critical. If we get back to this $32,000 line, then yes, I mean, I'm bearish for different reasons, but you could also be bearish for head and shoulders reasons. And if you look at the head and shoulders target, oh, wrong thing. If you look at the head and shoulders target, that's a $9,500 move. And if you flip it and then you move it, at least you have that advantage. That would take you to the low 2000s, which is in line with my other targets. So everything is in line, but we have to break this red line first. And at the moment, I don't believe that we will break it because I believe this is a 1 to 4 candle correction. I believe the low is in. That's why I bought the low. I believe the 1 to 4 candle correction has just ended this morning. And I now think we're going higher. Now, how do I know when I'm wrong? This is why I don't have like a risk reward. I know my risk. At the moment, my risk is this line. If I was trading in a non-GBTC tax advantaged account with a weird premium dynamic, yeah, I would get out at 32 and I would try to buy back in lower. But I also bought over here, so I would kind of get out with still with a profit versus when I got in. And but I do believe we're going higher from here. I'm just this morning I'm turning bullish. Like I'm seeing these headlines and it's insane. Bitcoin is your only protection. Bitcoin will be your only form of survival if you don't want to be a slave to the passport you're only a slave to the country you live in if that is your country of citizenship. I am now a firm believer that the only form of freedom there is now in the world is to live outside of your citizenship. And it can't be a global citizenship. So if you're an American, you're screwed. You got nothing. Like America will get you no matter where you live. So as a non-American, as a non-U.S. citizen, you have ultimate freedom when you live in a country that is not the country of your citizenship. As an American, you have a tiny bit extra freedom by living outside of America, but it's very, very small. And you have absolutely no freedom if you're an American living in America, because shit is about to change in a hurry. And you guys know me. I'm not a gloom and doomer, and I'm getting scared as to what's going to happen in America. And everyone is like, no, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's going to be business as usual. No, it's not. Not this time. Not this time. This time is different. Okay, I gotta get to Austin, Texas. So I can't get through the rest of your questions. I can maybe read them. Tony said on the 12th of January that you don't think the Bitcoin ETF would happen within 2 years. Yeah, it's paperwork. Do you think that we need time? Oh, yeah, that was a good question from the other day. No, it has nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin. It has to do with regulation. Like Bitcoin doesn't have to be above 100,000. Like Bitcoin could have had an ETF 5 years ago. 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. It's not the price of Bitcoin that, well, maybe not 10 years ago, but certainly 5 years ago. It's not the price of Bitcoin that matters. It's regulation. And regulation doesn't really want to create a Bitcoin ETF anytime soon. Hey, Tone, isn't each Bitcoin transaction? Oh, yes, the taxes part. Can you ask Tone to check back all the MRI tops? If you count them all together from 11 to 12,000, we have already 9 MRI tops, aka MRI super. No. We have 8 on the daily chart, maybe on the weekly chart, but on a daily chart we have 8. I don't have time to count them now. This would be the MRI super top, and based on the politics, I find it hard to believe that it would lead to a big correction. But if this move in the next few weeks is big enough that takes us to say 60 or 70,000, then yeah, we can have a very significant correction. Okay. Okay, I did that question. In a bull market of 2017, we never confirmed support in the 1,000 area. Can the same happen to, yes, that's a very good question. Correct. We never did confirm the back test of, and I've talked about that many times. I'll talk about it again in the near future. Yeah, it's possible we're never going to see 20,000 again. I'm actually leaning that way. I'm leaning to never seeing 20,000 again. Can we see 23, 24? Yes, for now. But I am leaning to not going below 20 ever again. Hey, I gotta save these questions. I gotta get to Austin, guys. I'm sorry. We will have to do this another time. Can you look at Airbnb stock? Well, if Airbnb starts deplatforming people because they don't like their politics, that stock ain't gonna go very high. So I am not exactly bullish fundamentally on Airbnb stock. All right, guys, on this note, I am gonna say goodbye. I gotta get to Austin. There'll be cool videos from Austin. I'm getting together with Jimmy. I'm getting together with On-Chain Capital guys. I'm getting together with some book authors. It's going to be great. There'll be some awesome streams from Austin, Texas. And then I'm probably going back to Florida or Mexico because I ain't going back to my other homes. Well, kind of homes, but homes away from home, which is where my family is in New York, and Las Vegas, where I spend a decent amount of time. And both of them are a nightmare right now, and I want to be nowhere near those cities. Time to go to it's snowing in Austin. At least it was a few days ago. It's insane. Florida was under 40 degrees, and so was Austin, apparently. So I can't wait to get back to Miami, where it's at least warmer. All right, guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all probably not tonight unless something really, really crazy happens in the price. But tomorrow for sure, I'll probably be some guests on my stream. Not